Hi, it's T with Teaquilts, and today is Wednesday, September 4th, 2019. It is 7:04 p.m. I'm a few minutes late today. I was busy doing something else and lost track of time. I don't really have an agenda today. I'm just here. So if you have any questions, most definitely put those into the chat box. I have some bills here I need to pay. I got sitting here. Let me move these out while I'm waiting on people to get into the room. Put this light up here. Make it just a little bit brighter. So let's see who we have here. And I'm late because I didn't even put out an early reminder so you can even get a notification bell. So I don't think that there are going to be that many people in here tonight. So we shall see. And now I'm cutting on my fan. So I can get some air circulation going. Okay. So let me pull this up on my cell. So I hope you all had a great Labor Day holiday in the U.S. So let me go through and check off who's here. From the top, we've got June Hanson here. She says, hi, Miss T and all. Audrey Daigle is here. She says, hello, Miss T. Diane 57 is here. Judy Smith says, hi, T, vacationing in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. All right, have fun, Judy. Quilt Gale says, hi, T, from Maryland. Teajuana Montreal says, hello. Judy says, hey to everyone. Darlene Former is here. She says, greetings from Northern Virginia. Let's see. Francesca Alfino says, hello, everyone. She's out of St. Louis, Mo. L.A. Quinn says, hiya. Bonita Nance is here. She says, hi, Miss T and everyone. So it looks like Bonita Nance, and I see further down, Peggy O'Connor has one too. She says, hi, T and friends. They both got the administrator identification on their name. So there must be two people are added as administrators. We got Sharice Risden Fofi says hello. Michelle Thompson says, hi, Miss T and everyone. And Peggy is also out of St. Louis area. Audrey says, hello, everyone from Alabama. Shrivia Henderson says, hi, T and everyone. Let's see. Claudette says, hi, everyone from Anaheim, California. June says she's learning to do feathers. Suck. Maybe by the time I get this quilt done, I'll feel better. Yes, it does take a lot of practice. And I would also suggest trying different techniques for doing feathers, because you've got more than one way of doing feathers. So check out other techniques as well when you can get a chance to practice. I have my little practice board. I just happen to have it sitting here. And sometimes I just, put stuff on the board just so I can have something to look at. Because sometimes when you actually get to the quilting, it's like you just have a brain freeze and you can't remember anything. So let's see. We've got Phyllis Garner here. She says, hi, T and everyone. Phyllis, your package, your envelope came. Won't show your name in the mail, so I'll open it as well. Judy is here. She says, hi, T and everyone. Linda Price says, hello from Temperance, Michigan. Elizabeth Young is here. She says, hi, T and everybody from KC, Missouri. That's Kansas City, Missouri. Aaliyah O'Brien is here out of St. Louis, Mo. She says, hello, everyone. And that's it for now. I'll come back in. The last comment is from Lietta saying hello. So let me go ahead and open up Phyllis' envelope. She's out of Winnebago, North Carolina. And I'm in this room today because I'm trying to force myself to quote a quilt top that needs to be completed so that it can go into our quilt show. That is September 20th and 21st. So if you're in the St. Louis area, please stop by the show. You can Google Flower Valley Quilting Guild Quilt Show. It's on the internet. I had a flyer here, but I guess I took it out because I gave my family flyers at Labor Day. But it's at St. Angela Mercy Church in Florissant, Missouri. And so she says, happy birthday, T. Thank you for all you do for us, Phyllis Gardner. And she had it inside of a plastic bag, her block. And, ooh, very pretty. Another one that has sewing theme fabric. Very nice. Gorgeous. Look at that. I'm hoping you all can see that pretty clear. Beautiful block. Thank you so much, Phyllis. I appreciate it. Love it. Can't wait to get to the point where I put those all together. Also, let me check my computer behind me if I can see if I can select the right thing, because I'm I gotta open up Excel, trying to see how many people are signed up for retreat. While I'm at it, let me see. $20.20. No, I went to Word. That's not what I want. I want Excel. I don't know why I clicked it, but oh, I know, because it didn't open full screen. So I clicked on Word. All right. 2020 retreat. And yeah, so I have 8 people, then 9 with myself, and then I know I got at least a couple more people, at least maybe 2 or 3 from St. Louis, at least, that are going to go. So I'm going to go ahead and start working on that. And I don't remember if I said that Kayla Avila is also on the list, just in case she's watching the videos. I have received her information, and let me change her Cash App amount and save that. So yeah, so I have her on the list as well. I still gotta find time to get to 2 other retreat centers to view and or get prices for, if I can. Some of them will not get prices until January because that starts their new year. So it's just weird how these people do business and don't know a year out what your fees are going to be. So it's very strange. Margaret Knox is here. She says, I'm from near Victoria. Welcome to the chat. I thought I saw something else. Someone from somewhere else, but maybe I think I said everybody. If I missed you, put it back in again for me. Let's see. Peggy says, love the sewing fabrics on that block. Deborah Richards says, hi, T and Gang from Poplarville, Mississippi. And Peggy says, how many blocks did that make? I didn't put that one on my list yet. My machine's right behind me because I can't remember. Hold on for a second. I just went to the post office today. So that'll make number 45, Peggy. Thanks for asking. And I have to still put Phyllis on the list. That'll be 45, though. And Diane says, I'm from near Lake Jackson. So they're talking to each other in the comment section. That's what's going on. Linda DeVito says, welcome from Rockaway, New Jersey. Hope you are doing well. I am doing fine. The season is about to change again, so I probably get the seasonal allergies that I normally get, no matter what medication I'm on. But the video that you all saw when Bonita sent that gift box, that was in June when I was sick. And so I just like the comments on those because I think I mentioned it to one or two people, but I tried to put it in, I put in the video that this is like a June video, but people still thought that I was currently sick. I'm actually doing well right now. So thanks everybody for your concern. June Billings is here. She says, hi again, T. Hi, June. Welcome. We've got Sonia Jones here. She says, hi, T, and everyone. So again, and I don't really have an agenda today. So if you have a question you want advice on or need some information about, go ahead and pop it into the chat box. And I do have a few things I'm just going to show you. I just wanted to let you know that when I did my Sashiko videos, I didn't get a chance to tell you because that video was already recorded, and then like a day or two after that, I found out that Walmart sells some Sashiko. They didn't have a lot to choose from, so I ordered what they had at the time. So I'm sure that it will change because you all know, or if you don't know, Walmart also has companies that sells through Walmart, kind of like Amazon. And so I have a few more Sashiko kits. I just thought that I would share it with you. They had these dragonflies. And they also had this kind of maze grid work. All of these have names, but I don't know the names of them. I have to look them up online. And I'm actually in the process of trying to clear out something, so that's why I came back across it. And this one is different. Those are 12-inch square blocks, and then I found a 20 by 20 sampler that has little small sample blocks on here. So I'll show you up close. I know the glare is bad, and then you can also see the paperwork, but this is a 20 by 20 piece that you can use as a, I think they recommended it as a table runner. Let me look on the pattern. No, it doesn't. It's just saying that it's 20 by 20. So whatever you want to do with it, you can do with that. So that was one thing I wanted to share with you all. Let's see. We've got Cordelia Mawson out of, she says, hi from the Florida Panhandle. Hope you all are okay in that area. Linda DeVito says, is that hard to do? No, it's actually the easiest handwork I've ever done, because the lines are pre-printed for you. And I don't really like hand embroidery because it just takes forever. And doing the back stitch for the most part is what I do, is the back stitch. But yeah, this is easier because it's just like a running stitch, a big running stitch. And Deborah Richards says, girl, I don't know what Sashiko is. I did 2 videos on Sashiko. So if you don't know what it is, one video is a haul. And then the second video was me showing you what I got, how I set up my package for traveling and things like that. And then the other thing I want to share is, I didn't know if you all have seen these bobbin cases. And one of the ladies was at my scrap quilting club. She had 2 of these, and she told me I could keep one and give one as a door prize. But these are my favorite bobbin cases. And I kept both of them. She said, if you don't want it, you can give it away. But I kept it because I do use these. And I like these because it has this foam insert in it. So this foam inserts, and then your bobbins actually sit, your sewing machine bobbins will sit in here, and then they do not unwind, and you don't have like the threads coming off. And I really use these for my embroidery threads when I have to have color on my bobbins and then you have too much left over. Those are the bobbins that I need to store with, because I don't use color in my bobbin often. It's just when I'm doing like lace in the hoop, freestanding lace in the hoop, or something that's going to show if it's a in the hoop project and it does a satin stitch, then I make sure I have those threads that match. So this is a great bobbin case. On the package, it just had that who it came from, but on the actual bobbin, it says Annie's Choice bobbin case. It does have it, I'm sorry. So it's Annie's Choice bobbin case. And it's really cool. Let's see how many bobbins it holds. 12. So it holds 28 bobbins. And it even has a slot here. I don't know what you'd put in there. A needle threader maybe, or one of the smaller ones. So I don't know what those slots are for. It doesn't have any instructions that came with it. And I've never used the slots, only because I'm using it for machine embroidery, not for handwork. But they would also work if you do hand applique and you want to get a lot of color threads and you don't want to go out and buy a whole kit of thread. You can just wind them on bobbins and put them in here as well. So I like that. Let me see what the comments are saying. A couple weeks ago, you mentioned a website that you could look up older fabric to find out where it can be purchased. That's from Quilt Gal. That is quiltshops.com. If you know the name, and what it is a website that is other stores. I don't know if they had to pay to be on this website or if it was free, but they list their fabrics. And then if you're looking for an old fabric or fabric, it can even be a new fabric, and you know what the name of it is, all the information that's on the salvage, you can go to that website and then you can Google. They have a search and then it will pull up the fabrics from that line and see if it's available. Linda says, what do you plan on doing with the blocks? I haven't decided yet, but it probably will be a sampler quilt eventually. I have a lot of blocks, so I'll probably do one sampler quilt, or I could use one block as a focus on a tote bag. It just depends on what I want to do with it and what I'm feeling like on any given day. Diane says, T, I cannot go on retreat. My brakes went out last Thursday, scared me silly. Now it's at the dealer being fixed to the tune of $1,256. Good Lord. Oh gosh, that's a lot, especially when you're not planning on it. And Elaine says, where's the bobbin case purchase? I don't know, because I didn't purchase. All I have is the information that was on the kit, but you can Google it. Bonita says, you can find the bobbin holder on Amazon. You get a 2-pack. Thank you so much. And Musical Angela says, I have that bobbin case and love it. I have like 3 of them already, and I'm like, okay, I'll take one more. But I love it because I tend to do one for each sewing machine. Judy Smith says, I love that case as well. I have that case as well, and I love it. Quick Gal says, thanks so much. Nancy McKnight says, hi, T, and everyone. Hi, Nancy, welcome. And we've got Vivian Calvi here. She says, hi, T. Hi, Vivian, welcome. And what else is up here that's miscellaneous? Somebody add this because I haven't been anywhere. Remember, I'm using the Millifori as a hand carry project, although after doing just a little bit of stitching, I may be sewing this joker on my sewing machines and doing set-in seams, okay? This is something else. Sashiko, easy. English paper piecing, If you want to make sure that you don't have giant holes, I'm one of those people that go to the extreme. I don't know if you can even see those stitches. Let me move this thread out the way. Matter of fact, I'm just going to take this needle out because I'll probably end up losing it anyway. So if you can see those little tiny stitches there. Yeah. See, I'm one of those people that go to the extreme, and you can even see here how tiny my stitches are. Because I don't want a big hole in it, because these seams are pressed open, and when you go to quilt it, there's a possibility that you can have a hole if you do bigger stitches. Or another solution to that is to put a piece of muslin on top of your batting or some other piece of fabric that you don't want, and then use that as a buffer so that the batting doesn't come through on your holes. So this is all that I've done. I have not sewed anything else, so I'll show you. I'm in the process of sewing the center seam so it's not together. But what I did was I fussy cut these pieces for the center for my millefori. So I'm working on the actual first block. So it's pretty, but it's a lot of work. It is a lot of work. So I cut just a few pieces out. I don't even have the whole first block cut out, but I also cut out these pieces. And I didn't have like 6 of these flowers to make this piece. So how many do I have of each kind? So I have, oh, I actually got 4. So I have 4. No, yeah, they're the same. So I have 4 this way, and then 2 like this. So I'm going to figure out maybe putting these in the middle and then 1 on either side when I get ready to put this block together. So I have not done a whole lot. I've done some prepping. So that's piece number 2, because these pieces here were number 1. This is number 2. And then these are 3 and 4 right here. These here, I had to make reverse of these. And I didn't worry about fussy cutting these. And I thought that the plaid might look good on a block as well. And I had to have reverses. So that's all I've done. Somebody was asking me, say, can you take us along with you on your journey? My journey is, I may be using the sewing machine, but I'm going to try to sew all of these pieces together since they're already prepped. I actually used glue to hold this down. I'm also using binder clips when I'm sewing my units together. So that's what I have in my hand sewing kit with some thread for that. And let me just check comments again, make sure. Diane57 says, please like, share, and subscribe if you're new. Yes, please do. I'm trying to get to 10,000 subscribers. I'm still in the 9,800 somewhere. I don't check it every day, but if somebody can go out and check it and come back in, let me know. That'd be appreciated. Sandra Inkstram is here. She says, hi, 10, everyone. Hi, Sandra. Welcome. Diane says, no English paper piecing for me. Cool Gas says, I love it too. I've dropped my cheap plastic ones and broke every one of them. They are good, but the thread ends get held in the bobbin slot and they don't fall out either. And the threads all get tangled up. So when she's talking about the bobbin case, if you just came in, and the foam actually keeps them from rolling around like they do in the other cases, so that they don't get tangled up as quick. Okay, thank you, Margaret. She says it is 9,800 something. And June says very nice. Okay. The only other thing that I have is I'll just show you the quilt top. That's the reason I'm in this room, because I am going to have to get some batting. I may have to end up going out to my garage, or Maybe I got a piece in here I can use, but I need to get this quilt quilted because it needs to be in the quilt show. So I have no choice. So I got piece the backing too as well. But this is a quilt top I made from somebody at a quilt guild in Wood River, Illinois. Gave me a bag of scraps that she no longer wanted. And in that bag was, I bet, 3, 4, 500 of these triangles cut. They're triangle isosceles. They're not equilateral. And I decided to put it into this hexagon format. And then also added them onto the border. So I put this on my quilt shows list because I need to get it done. And then on the corner, I just used my AccuQuilt die. I forgot what the name of it. And just made this corner. It was bigger than this, and then I just trimmed it to fit. That's why there are no points here. But, you know, I don't care. As long as it's symmetrical, it'll be okay. And I just did that in all 4 of the corners. So that is what I'm going to be hooking onto this long arm tonight. I got to. It needs to be done. I got so many things that I need to do for our quilt show. And our quilt show is September 20th, 21st, and I'm running out of time. And then thinking of that, that was another quilt show. I don't know what I did with her paper. Hold on. Trying to see if I had it on my desk. But there's another quilt show at the end of the month. I'll get that and show it tell you about it on another YouTube if you're in the St. Louis area. But it's the quintessential quilt show that's held at the University City Library. And I want to say, I can't remember. I think it's the entire month of September, maybe. Or maybe it's October. I'm going to find it. I'll have it next week. I thought I had it on my desk, so I'm still kind of looking for it. Let me pick up these papers and make sure I didn't drop it on the floor. These are my papers, my things I need to do. I thought I had it, but maybe I did not. I don't have a whole lot else to add today. So if you all got questions, go ahead and pop them into the chat box. I didn't see it there. I do have some papers here on the end of my machine. Let me just make sure they're not here. May as well check everything. So maybe I took it with me. I may have packed it up and took it with me to the lecture and then or moved it because I got to the lecture and it wasn't even in there. I didn't even have the flyers from my own guild when I went to a lecture. I had a lecture yesterday in, where was I? Waterloo, Illinois yesterday. Very nice quilt guild. I actually did a lecture on machine embroidery and quilt making. So that was fun. So that's not it. It's on a blue piece of paper like this. I'll know it when I see it, but I don't know. It's right here. I propped it up there in safe place and then forget what that safe place is. But it's the Quintessential Quilt Show 2019, hosted by Circle in the Square Quilters, September 30th through October 31st. So it's for the entire month of October at the University City Public Library, 6701 Delmar Boulevard, University City, Missouri. The hours are the hours that the library is open for that month. So Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., Sunday, 1 to 5 p.m. Now, they will have a special presenter, and this does have specific days. It's going to be Arthur Ann Hazelwood. She used to be a quilt shop owner here in St. Louis, of a quilt shop that was in St. Charles on Main Street called Patches. She sold that to someone else, and she started becoming a quilt author. You should know of her. Her books are published through AQS, the American Quilters Society, and she will be at the University City Public Library in their conference room on Tuesday, October 15th, 2019 at 7 p.m. And then their website is www.circleinthesquare.org. And then here is the information if you looking at this video later and need to pause the screen. But they always have a great show. They do this every other year, I think. And one year they actually brought in Bonnie Hunter. So pretty good. Quilt Guild, very active in the area as well. And they do a lot of charity work as well. Let's see. Go back and read. Let me go. I see Diane had to do some work here. I'll just hide that user on our channel. It's like, what's the point of coming into somebody's live chat just to harass people? It doesn't make any sense. Sandra Ingstram says gorgeous. Diane says you now have 9,895. So I'm almost at 9,500. So thank you so much, Diane, for the actual number. Darlene Farmer says nice. Bonita Nan says wow, very nice. Cherie says nice quilt. I love scrappy quilts. It was so funny because as soon as I got to the Gill in Waterloo last night, someone asked me, so I hear that you're the scrap queen and I'm trying to figure out how to use all these scraps I got. And I said, you know what, I feel almost bad because I'm doing machine embroidery, and while I do have a lot of scrappy quilts in machine embroidery, they're not as scrappy as my quilts that are in my scrap quilts lecture. But I did have a few in there that were traditional that she could get to see, because when you're doing machine embroidery, it's mostly the thread. So, but yeah, I love scrappy quilts as well. June says very nice. Deborah Richards go, ooh, I like. Michelle Thompson says, I think we just had a troll pop in but was deleted. Cool Gal says beautiful and free, no less. You must really work well under pressure, laughing out loud. Yeah, you know, stuff lay around so long, and it's like, normally I only put quilts in the show that are completely done, but this time I added 3 quilts. One of them I was doing the binding. I've got the binding on a big quilt, and then I've been working on the binding on that probably since February. It's my solstice quilt. I got all videos up on that. It was Pat Sloan's solstice quilt pattern. I did some modification of it in the setting sashing pieces, as well as I used orphan blocks and or my own half square triangles and made blocks on my own. So if you want to see what I did with Pat Sloan's solstice project, just go Google Teaquilts solstice quilt. I don't want to be under pressure. I don't know why I did that to myself, but I did. So I got 1 quilt I just now need to finish hand sewing the label on. Some quilts I put a permanent label on, and some of them I put a temporary one. This one I wasn't sure if I was going to use it on a bed or not. I started out making it as a bed quilt and then decided maybe it might be just a quilt I hang. So we'll see. What else is in the chat box? Let's see. And then what's the other quilt? Oh, it's just one that needs binding. It's a little small 20 by 20 piece. It's a tulip. I thought I showed you all that before, where it was a tulip quilt that I need to finish quilting. No, I finished quilting it, but I didn't put the binding on, and it's a machine embroidery. Blocking her name right now. She does things with AccuQuilt, and I'm just blocking her name, but I got 3 things to finish. I don't have a choice but to get them done. I'm also putting in my Bonnie Hunter's on Ringo Lake quilt. It's already done. And then I'm also putting in my Christmas wreath, where I took all of my ugly Christmas fabric and just tied it onto a wreath. I'm putting that into the miscellaneous category. Let's see, what else is in here? Vivian says beautiful quilt. Michelle says very nice quilt. Cherie says I'm a procrastinator too, trying hard not to be one every day. And I have never done this where I put some. I got so many quilts that I could have put in. I don't know why I put stuff in that wasn't finished. Bonita says, is that the library that just started quilt show last year? No, this quilt guild's been in existence for a few years, so it's a different library. That library is the Ferguson Library that did the quilt show this year for the first time in February. And Diane says everybody procrastinates at least once in their life. It's not procrastination, really. It's the 4th, and it's not due until the 19th. I got plenty of time, right? That's why it's going to be put on that frame. What else? Vivian says, hi, sorry. Hi, everyone. Diane 57. Sylvia Mayo is here. She says, hello, everyone. And Remo JS says, hello, T and everyone. Welcome to the chat, guys. And then my brother is here. He must have been outside working. He's late. He says, hey, sis, I'm here. I looked for you early and you were not there. Yeah, I did not come on at exactly 7 p.m. It was at 7:04 by the time I started typing in on the screen to log in to get the title and stuff like that up. So I actually sat here at 7. I knew I was going to be late, though. Bonita says, so when your quilt blocks are embroidery, how do you quilt it? You can do a number of things. You can use a meandering and go over your quilt blocks. And a lot of people think that if they go over some of the machine embroidery that it takes away from it, but it does not. And you can also pre-quilt your block. So if you're doing in the hoop and you're doing like one of Anita Good Designs quilt blocks, then you can pre-quilt it before you quilt it. There are also some digitizing programs where they will have the quilting built into the quilting. And let me go get you some, because I have nothing to talk to you all about if you're not going to ask questions. So let me go get some, because I got them all sorted to put up. But I'll go get just a few things to show you, but not everything and not a lot. See, I got these sorted to go back to where they either in storage or put back on the wall. So let me just start with what I got in the bag. These were some of the things that I was showing them. Also my lecture. But one thing I do want to share with you all, since we don't have a topic tonight, we'll just make it about machine embroidery, is that if you ever have the opportunity to go to a class, like whenever Floriani or Anita Good Design, sometimes, for sure at Floriani's, if you go to one of those classes, they're mostly trying to sell you digitizing software, which is very expensive. And if you need it, they're great programs. However, when you go to some of those things, they sometimes will give you free gifts or give you handouts. And Floriani has a sample on this package of all of their different stabilizers, and they have the name of the stabilizer on it as well. Now, you could use these and embroider on them, but what I do is I tend to keep them, or if I go to a lot, or if they give me a lot, or if I go back and get a second one, then I might use them when I'm doing some 4x4 embroideries. But what I like these for is if you're ever doing something and you need to just have a sample, then you can use this as a reference on what it is that you need to purchase. So that's one thing I do like about, and then on the back of them, they even tell you on the back what you can do with all these stabilizers. And then I've even written additional information from my own personal use of stabilizers on what I would do. Like some blocks might have 20,000 stitches in it, and if you only use one piece of stabilizer, you got the possibility of it caving in. So I will slide another piece of stabilizer underneath the hoop if I need to. So I'm just trying to get to the quilt blocks to show you what I'm talking about out of this bag. So just a second, because I don't want to lose any of these pieces. And then I saw something come up about something being rude, so let me go back and read the comments before I talk any further as well, just so I can kind of keep track of what's going on. So we just had another one that came in. I'm gonna hide this user on the channel. Can you not hide them, Diane? If you've got a troll, probably the same person just went back, because we don't normally get 2 in one night. Probably has various YouTube channels, but never used their real names. So I don't know if my administrators, any of you all with the wrench, you can click on the person's message or right click. I don't know how you do it. Mine's give me a link because I'm the person that holds it. But Diane, you hide them. Yeah, she says, yeah, she hid them, but it's telling me that you put them in timeout. So that's when I go in and really delete them. Okay. So thank you, Diane, for letting me know. Diane is crazy. She says, the trolls are going to learn to leave my tea alone. And she says, how do they find us? This is the thing. I have to make my live chats public because YouTube does not all the time send everybody notifications when I'm live. So they find us because if you just log on to YouTube and maybe it's somebody, they may have watched the previous quilt program, because they only normally tell you about people who are live that pertain to a particular topic you're in quilting programs. But yeah, I don't, it's just ridiculous. I have more time, I have more things to do in my day than to harass somebody on YouTube, whether I agree or disagree with their content or not. I don't care. If I don't like something, I just quit watching it. So she was asking about the quilting. This one's not quilting, but this is pretty. It's cut work embroidery. I pulled this one out by mistake. And you actually layer 2 pieces of fabric on a piece of stabilizer. So when I hoop this, I just hooped the stabilizer, and then I laid these 2 pieces of fabric in the hoop, and then it did a tack stitch to hold them down. And then it stitched an outline stitch of these flowers and the circles. And then I went in and cut the top layer so you could see the backing layer in these spots. And then I put it back on the hoop. And then it went and did all the outline stitching. So that's called cut work stitching. And Anita Good Design is this design. They do a lot of designs like that. The first time I got my embroidery machine I got some digitizing software on a 30-day test, and digitizing is very hard if you're not used to it. I wanted to digitize red work, and red work was really hard for me to digitize. So what I did was I used the software, dropped a pre-digitized design in the center, and then I went through and learned how to put the stippling stitches in the back. So that's one way you can quilt. And I did this all in the hoop, and then when it came out the hoop, I put the frames on it. So I just used this as a sample. This is when I was telling you that designs have the stitching already in the background. It's a good design again. They actually have you, what you can't see is that I have batting in here, but they have you trim it to the edge. So you can't see the batting, but I have a piece of 100% cotton batting underneath this fabric inside this seam line here. And let me see if I missed cutting it anywhere where you could see it. Well, no, because I put this white on top and then it stitched it a little bit outside of the white. So you can't see any of it. I trimmed really close. I can't even see it. When I put this in the hoop, once it stitched down the white outline, it then went in and stitched all of the background quilting because it was digitized. And so it already knew where the flowers were going to be. So it skipped that spot. It skipped the tree. It skipped the clouds and the sun. And it skipped and just digitized all in the spots that it knew wasn't going to have anything covering it. And then it left all the other areas open. Now, for those that are wondering, what is this? This is Mylar right here in the clouds and on the green. And you can buy Mylar. You can get holographic Mylar. I forgot what company sells it, but you can get it for quilting, and it costs a little bit more money. How I get my Mylar is I go to the dollar store, the Dollar Tree, and I go in there and I buy balloons. And I buy balloons that are more, if I want my colors to be more solid, I buy balloons that are in solid colors. Or if they don't have the color that I need, then I'll get a print balloon that have areas big enough for me to cut those pieces out. And I don't have any of that here because I've already put that stuff up. I love using balloon Mylar. Another place you can get Mylar is when you eat candy bars. Some of your candy bar wrappers on the inside, it has that silver lining inside. That's also Mylar. So let me read the comments before we go further. Yeah, I show buffering too, but it's not buffering. My husband did get off, so I don't know why it's buffering. Someone says, oh, that's beautiful, awesome. You're talking about the cut work, I'm thinking here. If they were into quilt making, they wouldn't have time to be rude or disrespectful. I hope so. And Darlene says, do you tear away the stabilizer or leave it on? This block here, this block, which is an actual quilt block. So this will be the sample. It has batting inside of here. This stabilizer is in between two pieces of fabric because when we're quilting, we're doing a quilt as you go in the hoop. So the stabilizer is going to stay in here, and this block would be trimmed. Need a good design likes to use 1/2 inch seams, so they'll tell you to trim a 1/2 inch from this line and make this a 6-inch square block when it's done. So that answers that question. Stabilizer stays in. If you're not putting the backing on, you can like tear out a tearaway stabilizer. If I know the stabilizer is going to stay in, I'll use a no-show mesh or a cutaway stabilizer. Never a tearaway stabilizer if it's going to stay in, because if you wash the quilt, tearaway is going to start to dissolve like paper, and so you end up with like that paper feel inside of your quilt if you're using it on a bed quilt. Diane says they can do a search for live video in order to find us. I didn't know you could do a search for live video. That's interesting. Michelle says, is anyone else buffering? And then Joan says she had to reboot. I'm buffering. It's here on my screen, but it's not pausing, so we'll keep going. I don't know why it's doing that. Sharice, and I rebooted my desktop. I don't think I rebooted this. Sharice says, for every quilter I've met or friendly and kind, it's something special about a quilter. And then she says, that's cool, the digitized embroidery. Joan says, I got an email from Connecting Threads today that they're having a sale on batting, 30% off. Yes, I don't need another piece of batting. I went into my closet that I haven't been in a long time, and I opened the door and I closed it, but I did peek in a little bit. Yeah, I got about maybe 5 or 6 twin battings, 80/20 from Hobbs in there. I need to use those. That's not even including my rolls that are stored in. I store my rolls in my garage, and I put them into mattress bags because they're big, and then that way I don't have to worry about critters getting into it, like the flies or wasps building their nest in there, because that wouldn't be nice. And Joan asked, do you all recommend fusible batting? I do use fusible batting. I use fusible battings more on wall hangers though, just because it makes your quilt just a little bit stiffer. So I prefer that kind of stuff on wall hangers. Is actually a plus for that. And Cherie said the same thing, depends on the project. LA Quinn says, now I know where to get Mylar. Good old Dollar Tree. Yes, and you can get all kinds of colors. And when I go in, the tip is you don't even have to have them blow them up. Just tell them you want to buy the balloons. You're going to blow them up yourself. And then I just cut. And the nice thing is you got both sides of the balloon to use too. So I love going to the Dollar Tree to get some Mylar. And Cherie says, I don't think anyone ever really spends $1 in Dollar Tree. I can go in as well. I go in for a particular purpose, and I only go to that section. So I tend to do pretty good in the Dollar Tree. If I'm going to get balloons, that's all I'm gonna get is balloons. Deborah Bridges says she's got to go. She says, good night, Tian. All by Deborah. See you next time. All right. So quilting. There is, you can piece your entire quilt top, and there are quilting designs that you can quilt your entire quilt with. They even have stippling. They have different types of meandering. If you all want to see quilt designs, you can go over to Anita Good Design. They show you how you can take a quilt top, start in the top corner, and hoop that part, and then you keep moving around the quilt to quilt the entire thing. I have never done that. I don't want to do that. But what I have done is I've done spot quilting. And what I mean by spot quilting is that I've taken this little heart with the curly Q, and each one of these little miniature pinwheels, these blocks are 2 inches. I put this little heart curly Q in each one of the blocks. So I'll show you the entire quilt. So I did that. So that's 18 blocks here that I did that in. And then in the border, I just put one of the other heart designs in the border spots, even in the corners. And then the rest of the quilting that I did on my regular sewing machine, I didn't have a long arm at the time. I just did in the ditch around the inside frame as well as down the rows. And that's all the quilting that's on here. But it's really pretty, and it gave it a little pop spot of some fancy quilting to make it look like I really knew what I was doing, but it was all done by machine embroidery. And then the other way you can quilt is to do the quilt as you go technique. And this is a pattern that I got from Quilting Designs, no, Designs in Embroidery, or Designs in Machine Embroidery. Eileen Roche is her name, R-O-C-H. I don't think it has an E. It might, but it's Eileen Roche. E-I-L-E-E-N. E-I-L-E-N-E, something like that. It's been a while. But she has these beautiful blocks, and she has different themes. And I got the butterfly one. I do have some other one of hers. And what it does is when you get the block hoop, they give you explicit instructions on how to hoop. You're hooping your back fabric as well as your front, and it does all the stitching in the block. And then you use a color thread that is going to show up on this black fabric, and then you start working on your appliques that go on top. So that's the front of the quilt. This is what the back looks like. So remember, you're going to have all of your starts and stops showing, but I didn't care because it was going to be pretty from the front. There's not any time that I've turned my quilt to the back and put it on the wall. The back is not too messed up. It's just that you will see your starts and stops. Like where I've got the blue antennas here, you can see the blue coming here as well. So, and then when I put it together, so I had just plain blocks, and then she has a very good technique for quilt as you go, where you put the sashing on and you doing it to the front and the back, and you're stitching that down. You do have to hand stitch one side of it, and I like that better than machine stitching on top, because when you get to the back side it kind of looks tacky when you do the stitch and the ditch on the top. But if you hand sew it, then it all looks really good from the back. So I just used the same fabric for the entire back. If you're one of those people that did quilt as you go, you can even plan a back for your quilt by using different fabrics in each of these spots. You could design a whole nother quilt, and you can make your quilt reversible. And I will just go ahead and show you, because the quilt was so pretty, I also made my label on the quilt as well. Like I said, this one is 2014, so it's 5 years ago, so that's why I don't know how to spell her. Good digitizers. Good digitizers to me are people like Anita Good Design, Eileen Roche with Designs and Machine Embroidery. I like OESD, which is Oklahoma Embroidery. Embroidery Library does a good job, although I have a few designs that don't stitch out quite right, but overall they are pretty good. BFC Embroidery, which is an online company, has very unique things that you wouldn't see other places. I really love them. They could do like tile quilts where you do like a certain part in a tile, and then it's all thread. They have like jungle animals, house cats, all kinds, and they have like different breeds. They don't just make one. They might have all types of cats or all types of dogs. And I even done one from them with the Statue of Liberty. I done a freestanding lace butterfly, which is about 6 inches high, freestanding. It's really cute. So those are my favorites that I can think of off the top of my head as far as digitizing. You can Google free machine embroidery designs, and you can find a lot of free designs. Just be careful with some of those. Make sure you do a test first, that you're not going to ruin something, to make sure it's going to stitch out. That would be my recommendation. Let me see who else has commented. Diane says it's beautiful. L.A. Quinn says Sweet Pea Embroidery has some fun patterns and not as pricey as Need a Good Design. And I have used one or purchased one design from Sweet Pea, but I haven't done it yet, so I do need to do that. But I saw them through a Facebook advertisement, and then I joined their website, their group, their Facebook group. I bought something, but I haven't had a chance to stitch it out. And another one is Smart Needle Embroidery. I thought I showed you all some hoop holders. Did I show you all hoop holders? I thought well, no, I haven't. It's actually probably in my room cleaning video, which isn't up yet. But Smart Needle Embroidery is very good. Designs by Juju is really good. Designs by Juju has like birth announcement type embroidery that you can put. They have a way for you to edit it to put in the child's date of birth, length, weight, all that kind of stuff, the last names, and then you can make like birth announcement quilts. And they're like tiny. You can do them in a hooping. They give them to you in various sizes, and you can do them in one hooping, and they're so cute. Cherie says beautiful quilt. Diane said thumbs up, please. Thank you, Diane. Thanks everybody, the 35 people that have hit it. Well, it says 35 on my iPad, and 40. I got 45 people in chat. That's what that is. Okay. Y'all know I get confused. Diane says, I don't like to do heavy quilting. Sandra says, what embroidery machine do you have? It doesn't really matter on the embroidery machines that I have because they're old. I have Elagio, Baby Lock Elagio, and a Baby Lock Elissimo. My machines are at least, all of them are 8 years old. The Elagio is probably more close to 10 to 15 years old. Um, the thing you want to remember if you're out in the market for an embroidery machine is that you don't want to buy one that you can only do a 4x4 feel. Embroidery machines has a max hoop that they can fit. My max hoop for my Elissimo is 8 inches by 12 inches. My max hooping for my Elagio is 6 by 10. And what that means, if I get a design that's bigger than that, I can't stitch it because there's only so much reduction you can do. Otherwise, you've got to learn how to do embroidery in parts. And I don't like that because you got to be spot on in order for it to work. You can do it, I just don't like it. I had to do it a couple of times. And the couple of times that I had to do it, I had to stitch it twice. I just could not get it to line up. And my Elissimo has a little snowman thing that it will find where you want it to start. But I just could never get that to be straight. Like, you know, everything to just line up like it should, even when I thought I had it all lined up. So it's just harder. And June saying, is embroidery library okay? Yes, they are. There is a couple more, but I can't remember the names because I haven't done machine embroidery in a while. But Darlene says, I have an old Bernina embroidery machine. These designs do not work on my old machine. The design will work on your machine if it can fit into the hoop because the programming is inside of the design. It's not. What I showed would work on your machine as long as you've got the field big enough to stitch it out. And most of the programs that I have, I don't know about this Eileen Roche one, but when you get into Anita Good Design, they mostly give you designs in 4 different sizes because they know that there are different hoop sizes and you don't even have to resize. So if you want a 4x4, 5x5, 6x6, and I think they do like an 8x8 or something like that. They already know what's out in the market. And I want to say, is it Janome? No, it's Foff. Foff has a hoop that's about 20 by 20. It's a huge thing. So they make that so you could do a whole pillow front if you wanted to in one hooping. So there is your machine will do it because all the programming is inside of the actual file. It's just a matter of what size hoop you have. Shrivia says, good night, everyone. Time for bed. Did 31 hours at work today. Wow. Gosh. Good night. Take care. We'll see you next time in the chat. Cleo Preston is here. Says, hello, T. Usually miss you live, but watch later. We're about to end. I started a little bit late, so I'm going a little bit over today. Michelle Thompson is here. She's been here. She's just telling Shrivia. Good night. Okay. Cherie says, gotta go to first day of school tomorrow. I need all my strength. Yes, indeed. So good night. We'll see you next time. So if we don't have any more questions, if you got a question, go ahead and make sure you get it popped in or a comment. Pop it into the box because we are about to end. I want to make sure everybody is heard. Just to make sure. So I don't see anything. It looks like I'm caught up with myself in here. So we'll go ahead and end it all. Somebody said, where's Eric? I have no idea. One other announcement is that I do plan to be in Houston for November. My friends have decided that they want to go to Houston instead, so I'm going to have to do another plan for going to California because I don't want to necessarily go by myself to California. So we're going to go to Houston instead. It's going to be 3 of us, but I probably will do a meetup on Friday. Let me know if Friday is a good time for you all. Friday, maybe after lunch, or maybe should we go before lunch? So let me know what your preference is next week. You all think about it. We don't have to put it in this video. I'll try to remember to announce it again next week. So thank you everybody for watching. I will see you next week. On Saturday, I do have a video premiere. Forgot what the topic is though. I didn't put it on my calendar. I just have that I have a video premiere. It's at 6:30 on Saturday. If you don't get a chance to come in and chat with us while the video is premiering, of course you can watch it when it's up in the regular upload. But thank you all so much for watching, for tuning in with me, and I will see you all next time. Bye, everybody. And Nancy says she hopes to see me at the festival. All right. So you all let me know if Friday is a good day and approximately what time, or do you all want to meet and then go have lunch maybe at the restaurant that's attached to the convention center. We can do that as well. So good night, everybody. See you all next time. Thanks, Audrey.